All right, all right. We are live here. See some people trickling in. Let's get started. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside Kodi Marie Doggett. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm hearing you in surround sound today. This is kind of different for me, but we're doing all right. We're back in
Okay.
Brooklyn.
All right. Welcome back to Brooklyn.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, hello, Diego. Hello, Doug. Hello, James. Hi, hi, hi. Thanks for joining us this week. As you know, we had a technical difficulty last week, but we are back and it's fixed. Thank goodness. I may have mentioned this is episode 675. And, if you listen to us on a regular basis, we ask you that you rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. So if it's Spotify or if it's Apple Podcasts, I will be reminding you a lot. So go ahead and head over there the next time you listen to us and rate and review us. It helps us do well and has other people find us as well. So we really appreciate that. Well, we got to get into a lot of hot topics. There's so many. And we just wanted to mention that we were really sad to hear that celebrity chef Anne Burrell, who was part of our community, had lost her life
Yeah.
yesterday at 55. She was found dead in her house in Brooklyn, of all places, where you're at.
What?
And it's so sad. She was only 55 years old. She was somebody that I would see a lot on the Food Network. I was telling you offline that I watch a lot of, if my go-to Diego's is watches a lot of home improvements and how did they build these houses, and I'm now watching those as well. But whenever I'm just, my go-to is the Food Channel or Food Network or anything related to food, I'm always on there. And she was a big staple on there on many series like Bobby Flay and Beat Bobby Flay. She was a judge on there all the time. She was a lot of fun. She
Oh,
was on The View several times, and it's just a sad loss to the community at large. And our thoughts and prayers. She was just starting a new relationship as well, and
oh wow.
our thoughts and prayers go out to her partner and her
Amen.
friends and family. So,
Yeah,
yeah, very sad loss.
very sad. My mom was telling me
Yeah.
about her today, and
Oh,
she showed me her a couple times, but it was hard for me to get my memory jogged. But then you brought it up to me. It all came flooding back. So,
yeah. I
sorry.
know. I know. Okay, well, there's a lot of new things coming out, and I just wrote an article for the San Francisco Frameline Film Festival about a new documentary that will premiere tomorrow. If you happen to be in San Francisco, it's called A Body to Live In, and it's the life of BDSM icon Fakir Masafar, who really pushed the boundaries on body body modification, piercing. And so it's kind of a hard watch, Kodi, but I watched the whole thing. But he is kind of a leading pioneer in that movement from way back from the 40s when he was just a kid. He was really inspired by circuses, and he lived his life really in this kind of what we didn't know at the time was BDSM. And
Mhm.
he really became a fixture on pushing boundaries and always looking for a deeper meaning and a spiritual connection to all of the things he put his body through. And we're talking like everything from just putting clothespins in his body to being hung by his skin
Oh wow.
and all kinds of things like that. So it's really a compelling piece. It's called A Body to Live In. It screens at the San Francisco International LGBTQ plus Film Festival tomorrow, June 19th at 8 p.m., or when this show drops today, June 19th, 8 p.m. at the iconic Roxy Theater, and notable Bay Area artists and cultural figures will be in attendance. So try and check
Oh,
that out if you are there. It's a great thing to do during Pride. You can also read my article too and the review of this film. Go to TAGSPodcast.com, or better yet, go to our Patreon page where I post all kinds of things up there, including getting over this cold that I have. And I was posting earlier on a remedy that Diego gave me that is a secret recipe to help clear that congestion. But things like my reviewer up there, grab a free account. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast, or consider grabbing a tier as well, where when you do, you're supporting the show you've come to know and love. So check all of that out. We also want to remind you that Friday is Noah's Ark the movie, and it's coming out on Paramount Plus.
Yes.
And very excited to see all of the characters back in business for this new movie. And our co-host went and saw it. I think he saw it. He met Patrick, the writer director.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he was just telling us. And so I'm excited to see it. So yeah, Teddy Alexis.
Me too. I'm so excited. It comes out on Friday in time for, it's a little late for Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. So happy Juneteenth, everybody. So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a wonderful time for me. It's going to be, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Another great thing to do during Pride Month. There's so much going on. It's really exciting. I'm so happy. Friday is also the kickoff of summer, so another thing to celebrate. Excited for all of those things. Well, somebody that won't be celebrating is the story we've been talking about all year long, Austin Wolf, who, if you remember, he is currently in prison. Porn star extraordinaire has been in prison for a year now. It's been 1 year, Kodi, since he's been in prison. And finally, he is going to get his day in court. And they are expecting him to plead guilty for serious federal charges involving the possession and distribution of child pornography. And this is according to the U.S. Department of Justice, which would have him serving a minimum of 5 years. That's at least what his side is hoping for, but it could go up to 20 years. And those are just the charges that we know of that he's being charged for. So we won't know. He was supposed to go into court today, but actually it was postponed. They needed a little bit more time to formulate what he's going to say, but he is expected to plead guilty, and at least for the two charges, which is including distributing and having child pornography on his computer. So he's definitely guilty of that, and that is a minimum sentence of 5 years. Of course, I would imagine he's already served 1 year. If you remember, it was 1 year ago that he was put into jail, so I'm sure that will count towards him. He might have been hoping for a shorter sentence. But ultimately, what does this even mean if he's already pleading guilty to these charges? Do you think there's more? And will he have a life after this?
I do think that there could possibly potentially be more. There's always more, if you ask me. You just take some digging. Also, you know what, though? I really think that the FBI and whomever is involved in this case, they probably did their due diligence. So I don't know if there's any more. I probably not. I changed my mind that quickly. But I just think it's a long time coming. I think that this is what he deserves. I hope he gets a longer sentence, honestly, because 5 years seems like a short amount of time for something this egregious. So, yeah.
Yeah, it really does. So we will be looking, because was the story. He was a cultural icon within our community for so long. Many people looked up to him as not just a porn producer, but somebody that was involved. He was doing many things in terms of, he had Collab Week in Puerto Vallarta that my friend worked with him on that. And, I've met him several times, and it was just a huge blow to all of us. And it's a story we've been following all year long. And so to see him finally have his day in court, I think justice will be served. More on that to come. Somebody else that has something to say for himself, Tyler Perry, of all people, is being sued for sexual assault. And one of his series called Oval, the Oval Office, I believe, claims that for years he was privy to harassment and more. And Tyler Perry is facing accusations of sexual assault. And it's coming from actor on that long running show, The Oval, where they're asking for quite a huge sum of money. It's in the millions that this actor, Derek Dixon, is asking for. And he was only in 2 episodes of The Oval, but he really claims that for years he met Tyler Perry at a party and that he befriended him, and that he claims all kinds of things, that he was drugged by Tyler Perry, and that there's even receipts too. And I don't know if you had a chance to read any of the receipts that went back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
At one point, Tyler Perry says, oh, the actor says, how do they make money? They're talking about something. And he says, subscriptions. In which Tyler says, they make money from advertising, lots of monies. And he goes, I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. Testosterone, Tyler Perry says. In which case, Derek says, oh, yeah, from the doctor, but is it making you feel better? Tyler says, I feel so good, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person that flirts with me. And Derek says, laughing out loud, you don't even understand. And a lot of them are even a little bit more suggestive, saying things like, you are the rose, Tyler says to Derek, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be opened. And there's a lot more suggestive comments that are seemingly not making Tyler look very good. When you heard all of this, what were your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was, is anybody really surprised by this? Because I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
the rumors and things have been going around for a long time that he was gay. That's the first thing. And then I don't know. For a lot of these accusations that are coming out now, especially with like Diddy and Bill
Yeah.
Cosby and Harvey Weinstein, it's just very powerful men in positions of power using that power against other people. So
Yeah.
Tyler Perry is one of those powerful people. So do I think that he possibly could have done this? Absolutely. Only time will tell, because innocent until proven guilty. But it's not looking good. It doesn't look good from any standpoint.
Yeah, Tyler Perry's people say that this is part of a large scam against the actor, but I think that I've always been suspicious of Tyler because I think we all know that he's gay. There's been rumors that he's gay for years and years and years. He's this huge mogul. I mean, I think in Atlanta, doesn't he have
He has
one of
his
the
own studio.
largest studio that's just a city in and of itself.
Yes.
He has so much money, and he's a powerful figure within the Black community. And he's playing drag all these years with Medea.
No,
It's
he's a
like
drag
he's the
queen.
original drag queen. And I always thought the man
No, that's
is
Mama
gay. Yeah. I mean, the man is gay. And it's so why doesn't he ever say it? Not that you have to say that you're gay, but it's like it would make such a difference if somebody like Tyler Perry did. But what was he always hiding, right? And the other side of it is, well, I appreciate a lot of the pieces he's put out there over the years. A lot of the other stuff that's out there often is crap to me. Like if you watch some of those shows, do you see the men that he casts in those soap operas that are on TV?
So beautiful. They're all so beautiful.
But it's like kind of a joke, but it's just fun to watch these men. I mean, I can't watch them because the acting, it's so over dramatic. But yes, if you're into hot men, he knows how to cast them, hire them.
Sure.
Yeah. And even you and I were talking about the new movie with Taraji P. Henson, Straw, which is, she's really good in it, but it's so over dramatic and over the top in many ways, which is so his shtick often.
That's his niche right there.
And yeah, but I think he's too preachy often in many of his work, and he's turned me off years ago. And this does not surprise me because I think he's always, at the helm of power, and to see this makes sense to me. Sorry, I know that's a sad case when things like this do make sense. You don't want them to, but he does need to have his say, and he's innocent until proven guilty. So we will see if other people come forth.
Yeah, we'll see. And I don't know. That's it for me.
Yeah, let's move on to let's get into music. And At the end of this segment, we have a surprise for you. But starting off, there is a singer by the name, female singer that goes by Fletcher. She's a queer superstar, Fletcher, and she really ignited a firestorm with the release of her new single, Boy. Why would it? Well, the song describes her experience falling in love with a man for the first time, contemplating what people might think about her new relationship. Boy is the first single off of her upcoming album, Would You Still Love Me If You Really Knew Me? Well, why is there a controversy on this? Well, because Fletcher's earlier music all had to do with her love of women. In fact, she had racked up a huge following of lesbians for talking about her relationship with YouTuber Shannon Be- Beveridge and her eyebrow raising song Becky's So Hot about Beveridge's now ex-girlfriend Becky Missile. So it gets even more messy, but that was really her crew of people that she, you know, people are now wondering, was she just queer baiting all along and now she's switched camps? Or I say, was she bisexual and she's done with women for a minute? Oftentimes, I don't think we give people that are pansexual or bisexual the chance. What do you say to this?
Uh, yeah. So first of all, I don't know this lady. She could walk right past me and I wouldn't know who she was. I don't mean to sound ridiculous. And now that I've had my Kiki Palmer moment, I think that this lady has probably always been bisexual. But did she lean into her lady loving side a little bit more in order to garner more fans with the lesbian community? I think so. Whether it was her idea or whether it was her team's idea, I think that this was all constructed for her to get a massive following. And now that she has found her following, she's deciding to layer her bisexuality in a little bit more. Now, that the problematic part is that she came out with this song and it's like a lament. It's like it's a woe is me song about
Yeah.
how she's a poor little bisexual and she's being accosted by all the lesbians, and instead of them accepting her, they make her feel othered. No, honey, no, you're in a heteronormative relationship now. You're not a poor bisexual. You should have probably came with this T in the beginning, and then everything would have probably been fine. You could have had your lady love and still did all that, but still expressing your bisexuality. But I think because she didn't lean into more of her bisexuality, then I think that is where her fans, they feel a little bit betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. And I think a lot of people are saying that to do this, to release this song, Boy, in Pride Month is a
Yep.
little bit weird timing too. And it could have been an opportunity to be a bi-pan anthem for Pride Month, but instead she went with coming out as being in a socially acceptable heteronormative relationship to rub people the wrong way. Others said that Fletcher's suggestion in the song that her relationship with the man was healing for her was implying to many that her time dating women was toxic. So I can see, which brings up our
That doesn't sound like
related.
dating a woman. It sounds like dating a man. The toxic part, joking. I'm home.
Yeah, well, it could. I would agree with that if I were,
Getting
uh,
married.
yeah, right. No, but it also brings up there's a TikToker that did kind of a huge pivot recently that really pissed off. There's a TikToker where she basically was presenting herself as queer and she did a full on pivot. She goes by the name of Jaden, a TikToker who started out making queer content and is now doing a sharp pivot toward Christian content. And while that's fine, she's actually acting like she was not queer anymore and that basically she says, I really do have to choose the explains because that's what the Bible says. And she claims that since the dream, she's no longer attracted to women. And she's now really only about her Christianity. And that, of course, pissed off a lot of people. Do you understand that? When you have an audience already built into your hemisphere, that
Mhm.
all of a sudden you just switch gears like that, how people are not going to necessarily come with your direction, come in your direction.
Yeah. Or I love it when they come in my direction. What?
Sorry, I'm so struggling tonight, so I
You're
have to choose
fine.
my
You're doing
words, but
fantastic, darling.
thank you. But you might have to take over a little bit because
Okay. Well, so this story really struck me because it took me aback because these are some serious allegations. This person saying God took their gayness away, in essence, which is, I think, is complete and utter fallacy. I think it's a fairy tale that she's spinning. But there are so many reasons why she could legitimately think that this could happen because maybe her sexuality is still in flux. Maybe she was exploring. Maybe
yeah.
she gender sexuality, just like gender, is fluid. So you can't discredit her wanting to have a more heterosexual uh, a relationship. But uh, what what I think that Fletcher did not do that this woman did is she completely for me what I understand of this, she is trying to completely negate or take away, not take away her gayness, but kind of demean the LGBTQ plus community. So I really think that's problematic. There are so many young gay people out there that are listening to this and thinking that they can pray the gay away, and that's just not going to happen. So at least not for a huge percentage of these people. So I think that she did a really damaging thing, and she really needs to watch herself, as far as I'm concerned, because she her words actually matter because she has this huge platform.
Yeah, and a lot of people should do a little bit more history on when people have done this in the past. I mean, think Donna Summer in the past, when Donna Summer had a huge disco career for years and years and years, and then she leaned into her Christianity, and which was fine,
Yeah,
but
it was.
then that she said a comment that was really taken the wrong way, and all of the gay people that really supported and loved her did an about face, and they didn't support her anymore. And it took years and years and years for Donna Summer to come back for, the singer that we all know and love before she
Yeah.
passed. And Lauryn Hill comes to mind too, where she was with the Fugees, and she really had this huge career with the Fugees,
Oh,
and then went on her own and had this amazing album. And then she did an about face, and also went kind of a Christian way too. And
but she wasn't against the gay community, though. I just want to make that clear for everybody.
no, but my point more
Yeah.
is when you have a following of people that, like, it would almost be like us as hosts, or me with the host of this show, and I often all of a sudden said, the show's now going to be all about Christianity and religion, and people are going to be like, wait, what about the sex? It's like, oh no, I don't believe in sex. I'm now I don't practice sex anymore. I don't have sex anymore. I'm
Oh my.
now, yeah,
Save yourself
that
for
would,
Jesus. I love
right.
it.
But that would be
Very
almost like when
systematic
you have
parent.
a following, like we have a following, or like this TikToker has a following, or this Fletcher has an audience. And when you build that audience on a certain type of community and you about face it, is my point. I think that you can't expect everybody to come following you along, and you're going to lose a ton of people.
I hear
That's my
you.
point in that. And
And I
so,
think if
yeah.
you become a Christian who doesn't do sex anymore, you can just give the show to me and I'll keep it going.
Yeah, right. But right, I would have to, but it would be like that, the nerve of me to think, or the audacity for me, of someone like me, or Fletcher,
Yeah.
or this TikToker, to think that, well, why wouldn't people just continue to follow me, is kind of like egocentric. And wow, I
The
mean,
audacity.
people followed you for a certain reason. Yes, they liked you, but they also liked you for a certain reason on what your content was all about. And for you to change that content is not going to be welcomed by a lot of people. Sorry. Look at history. All you got to do is look at a lot of. I named a couple, but there's many that have gone down that route, and it did not work.
Yeah, totally.
This might
Well,
be
I was
yeah,
just gonna say, since we were talking about releasing
yeah.
music in Pride Month, guess who's coming out with a new single June 27th? It's your boy, it's me. So stay tuned for that. Look out for I Don't Want to Fight, a new single by Kodi Maurice Doggett. I want to have like maybe a little listening party one day, maybe on the Patreon, something like that. So stay tuned. We're gonna work some things out. And yeah, I'm really excited. I sent you the album artwork. We tried to get it on this platform. didn't quite work out, but you will definitely be able to see it soon. It's very sexy. You know how I
Yes.
like
Can
to
I
do,
post it on our Patreon for later
darling. Of
tonight?
course you can. Yes, 100%.
Oh, the cover art is awesome. It's so sexy
Thank
and hot. I
you.
love it. So be sure and visit patreon.com/tags podcast, and you'll get an exclusive peek of the artwork of Kodi Maurice's brand new single, I Don't Want to Fight, coming out at the end of this month in time for Pride.
Snaps in time for Pride, June 27th. It's a Friday. I was just
Oh, I
double
love
check.
it.
It's a Friday.
That's
Yep,
great.
that's right.
Perfect. Pride weekend. I love
That's right. In
it.
New York City, that's right. It's Pride Weekend in
Yeah.
New York
And San
City. So
Francisco, too. So,
in San
yeah.
Francisco. That's the right time. You know what?
Yes.
I might have had that in my brain. So yes.
I love it. Okay. Well, speaking of pride and how we celebrate pride, there is a viral clip going around of an older couple. I hate using that word because they are such handsome Italian
Aren't they
gentlemen,
sexy?
very sexy gentlemen of a certain age, showing that love is still there and we celebrate pride in many ways. It actually comes, there's two Italian actors, Francesco Paolo Lantoni and Patricio Rispo, in a short film that they made. They're actually straight men, but this is part of
Oh,
a short film that came out a few years ago that is the clip of that we'll describe in just a second shows this lovely couple going up a really large elevator, or excuse me, escalator, and who's coming down the escalator is a huge group of LGBTQ young people, gaggle, who are waving the flag and shouting, and it's gay pride currently.
kissing.
They're singing and they're having a good old time. Well, this clip shows this couple going up and just looking at the couple, and maybe with this beautiful music feeling a little bit excluded. They are just side by side and they're not saying anything to each other until one of them reaches down and after seeing the gaggle of LGBTQ people having fun, grabs the other one's hand below, and it's a beautiful moment of affection. And which, at the end, as they're about to get off of the escalator, the other man leans over and gives a passionate kiss. In which
Oh,
case, the group, the gaggle of LGBTQ people that were screaming and hollering for pride, see it and are shouting "Yay!" in celebration of that beautiful moment, which really has a larger messaging of don't forget about your elder LGBTQ community, and everybody gets to celebrate Pride. And I don't know why this resonated so much and why it's gone viral. I feel like there's a theme this year to not have our forget about our elder populations. I
mm-hmm.
was watching a show, I was telling you in our meeting, I love Eva Longoria, and she has a show called Searching for Spain. And it is set in Spain, and it's all about food and different. She goes to different. And I love anything to do with food. I'm like obsessed with food and food, and I love,
I was like, how many times has he said food this
I love
episode?
it. Yeah, and Diego and I are cooking all the time, and it's
Recipes from
yeah,
Diego, Food
constant.
Network.
We have
Okay.
been cooking every night for the
Where is
last
my
2 weeks.
invite? Where is my invite for dinner? Okay.
That one.
Monday.
But in one episode, she is in Madrid, and it is a beautiful episode because she goes to Pride in Madrid, but she also visits a, an older couple, and they make brunch for her. And they started an organization about our elder populations and not to forget about them. They have their own moment in this episode, and it's really beautiful. And so, I don't know. Why do you think these clips and these stories are becoming so viral right now about do not forget about our elder populations when it comes to pride?
Well, I think that, as because we're getting older and we're like the generation after the AIDS epidemic. So
Yeah.
before, when all the gays, they were in the closet before, and then the AIDS epidemic, when people were starting to come out, that all hit. So our elder generation kind of got decimated. So there weren't that many. But now people are getting older, gay men and lesbians and non-gender conforming people, everybody under the spectrum, everybody's getting a little bit older. So it's more relatable. There's more people that are in our elderly not elderly, a little bit older of a certain age
Of a certain
community.
age. A podcast that we had. A shout out to our podcast.
Shout it out. Yeah. So I think that now that there is a more substantial amount of gay men and lesbians that are out there and living their life as older people, and I think that that is something that is permeating the social norm and things of that nature. I also kind of want to point out that originally, when they were coming up the escalator, one of the boyfriends was on a lower step, and he so that they could like distance themselves and they wouldn't have to look like they were together.
Oh,
And
yes.
he stepped up onto the after he saw the younger gay people, he stepped up onto the step that his boyfriend was on. So I think that's very telling as far as where that generation had to come from, where they couldn't look gay, and where we are now as far as we can be open and more,
Scene.
proud of our sexuality and seen. Exactly. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
a
thought that was
really
really
good
beautiful.
point. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that was one of the points of that whole short film in as a whole, which by the way, you can watch on YouTube. The whole short film is available now to watch, and we encourage you to check it out. I'll post it on our Patreon page. Once again, go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. I'll have that up tomorrow where you can watch this clip. And if I can find the whole short film, I will put that up there as well. So check that out. And when I say tomorrow, when you're listening to this, wherever you get your podcasts, it'll be up there by the time you wake up.
It'll
So
be
check
today.
it up. Yeah, it will be today. And don't forget to rate and review us wherever you hear your podcast. Really does help us out. Well, the Supreme Court was busy hearing many cases, and one of them had to do with the trans in Tennessee. The Supreme Court upholds Tennessee trans healthcare ban, and it's a Tennessee state law that banning gender affirming care for trans youth has been upheld by the Supreme Court and a devastating loss for trans rights in the U.S. Many of you probably already heard that, but what does that really mean if you could not get access? Well, for a lot of youth, it can mean a lot of things. It can actually go as far as suicide, and that's one of the things that we don't want. There's been plenty of laws that show that supporting things like gender affirming care is right and healthy but in put on by parents and children, and it's saving lives. So if you can't access care, there's a really good article that talks about how you can go, obviously, if you have the money, to neighboring states,
Mhm.
but you can also find communities online as well. That if it's too expensive, there's all kinds of support groups that you can find online right now. There's parents that are really helping teens out in various sectors, and it's at least directing you in the right path. But when you hear that, they're banning this is just really targeting the trans community once again in such an insidious way.
Yeah, it's really sad, especially because this is care that would save so many lives, and it's just ridiculous that they're getting rid of it. Well, they are limiting it, because they haven't gotten rid of it just yet. I know somebody personally that when they were younger, probably like 16-ish, I want to say, they started hormone blockers,
Okay.
and not necessarily because they wanted to transition, but because they felt, I guess, more androgynous. I would have to pick their brain again. I asked them all about this when maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm getting older. The memory is getting shorter, but I think that they are more comfortable being more androgynous. And they say that because of the hormone blockers, that really saved their lives.
Yeah.
And they would never change anything about that. So yeah, it's something that really is out there helping all kinds of people. And straight people get to do it. Straight people get boob jobs. They are on Viagra. They are
Right.
taking hormone replacement therapy. This is gender affirming care. So what is wrong with a person of trans experience having this gender affirming care? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just because there's a lot more of them than there are of us. So they think that who they are and what they have to say is more important than who we are and what we have to say.
Yeah, and I always thought the right was about less government. This is total government on our own personal bodies,
Boom.
and the decision between a parent and a child to make on their own, not to have government say what you can and cannot do. And at the heart of that, it just goes against, it's just really that they are really, it's that right wing that is really trying to deteriorate anything to do with the trans. We won't let it happen, of course, and we will find ways because we are savvier than they will ever be. So
That's
snaps to
right.
us.
Yeah, and you
But
know what? This goes against everything, and I hate to harp on this because I know
yeah,
we got to keep it moving, but like this goes against everything that science has to say and medicine has to say.
yeah,
So,
right.
what reason do you have not to believe in science and medicine? It's for me. There's only one answer, and I'll let y'all come to your own
Yeah.
conclusion.
Well, unfortunately, that side doesn't seem to ever believe in science,
I
and
was
they're a
gonna
little
say,
backwards. Yeah. We know better, and we will continue to report on this. But so Pride happened in Wilton Manors in Fort Lauderdale recently. And sadly, there was somebody that tried to get into the Pride parade, the Saturday night Stonewall Pride Festival, with a gun. It was 31-year-old Michael Monaghay decided to enter the stage with a Glock 9 millimeter clipped to his waistband and two fully loaded magazines, which is crazy.
what is going
Fortunately,
on in Florida? I don't get
yeah,
it.
I know.
Oh,
Law enforcement, thank God, there was metal detectors that you had to go through, which is really smart on their part to have this at the Pride Festival, and detected it right away and were able to arrest him.
good.
And but he was up to no good with that.
Oh,
Um,
with that, he's definitely up to no good.
yeah, with parades happening just last week, and they will continue to happen, and marches, of course, for what's going on with ICE and against our presidency, and with Pride happening all around the world. This is a little bit of alarm to see that, but I'm really happy in this kind of festival that Wilton Manor had these securities and were able to get them right away. What do you say to this? And does it make you want to avoid these kinds of festivals?
No, it does not. I think that this is. I'm glad that in Wilton Manors they were able to ascertain the situation and get a
Yeah,
hold of it very quickly. But I do think that this is something that can happen anywhere.
yeah,
Honestly, I did make that joke about Florida earlier, but honestly, it could happen anywhere. It
yeah.
seems to happen there more than anywhere else.
Okay. But good on Wilton Manor authorities for having the wherewithal
Good
to
on them.
have
I
this
said that.
security and to find
Yes.
it. And
Yes, I
yeah.
agree. Good on them. And good on them for actually doing their due diligence and not
I
just kind
love
of
Wilton
letting.
Manors too in Fort Lauderdale. That's the one. I
Yeah.
do love Fort Lauderdale a lot.
Oh yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
But it does not make me afraid to go out and enjoy myself. I know that something that like this could possibly happen, but it only emboldens me because I'm not going to let them and the fear that they are trying
Yeah.
to induce in me.
That's
No,
what
that's
they
not
want.
not going to get the
Yeah.
better of me, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's what they want. And we will not give that to them. No, thank you, ma'am.
No, ma'am, no, Pam. Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, the other day we were talking about gay weddings and how same sex couples, you can listen to it on episode 674. There is a new Pew study that shows that there are far more same sex marriages since I forget the numbers. We had it on that episode, but it's risen substantially in the last several years, as well as cohabitating same sex couples. Well, now there's a new study because it is the 10-year anniversary when same sex marriage became legal. 2015, you all remember? And what has happened over that time period? Well, gay weddings have boosted state and local economies by, get this, Kodi, $6 billion since marriage equality. And what does that really even mean? Well, it means that we've employed a lot of people because
Yes.
the average wedding is $8,546 spent per wedding, where couples have spent approximately 4.9 billion on their celebrations, with an estimated 22.2 million guests in attendance. Among them, 7.6 million guests traveled from out of state, generating an additional economic boost of nearly 1 billion over the past 10 years. And this is huge
Yeah.
money that we are contributing to the country, Kodi. And with the
Mhm.
threat of Ogerfeld and the Ogerfeld case being overturned, because there's talk that we might want to overturn, not we, but the Supreme Court
Of
could
course,
hear
yeah.
this case. We are really helping our economy out. And I know I'm planning my wedding this year,
And
and
she ain't
we
cheap.
are going to try and keep it. It ain't cheap. I'm working out some deals and trying to keep it on a certain spectrum. And I know Diego wants it on a certain cost as well,
Oh,
but
you were too
still,
fabulous. Yeah.
I could see how, $8,000 is really on the low end for some of the weddings that I've seen.
Yeah.
But we are contributing. If they get rid of this, we are helping the economy out.
They would be real fools. And I don't know if they understand that they're shooting themselves in the foot, but
Yeah.
hopefully before it happens, they will come to see that. And hopefully that, because I always say money is a big motivator for
Yeah.
people. So studies like this are only going to help our cause, because they're going to see that how much money we are spending. We have so much disposable income as gay people, because generally speaking, we don't have any kids. But I think that this is going to show the world at large, and hopefully so many. That's giving people a lot of credit, though. I
Yeah, right.
don't. Even if I was as I was saying it, I was kind of like, they don't care. They do not care.
Yeah.
They're still going to try and get rid of it. But hopefully the numbers guys will talk some sense into them. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, 9 states have recently introduced resolutions asking the Supreme Court to reconsider Obergefell, citing state constitutional amendments banning marriage between same sex couples that were nullified. So, we talk about this on the show all the time with abortion being overturned. It's not really out of the perimeter that it could go to the Supreme Court. But
Yeah.
those that are already married, and that's why there's a push to get a lot of couples married before any of this happens, like 2015, before 2015, is because
You're about to make me cry.
once you're grandfathered in, yeah, but I don't know. We'll continue to talk about this. And yeah, it's not ruining my parade, my wedding this year.
You'll be grandfathered.
Yeah, I'll be grandfathered in. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we have to give some advice here. And this one comes from AI. And this one struck a chord because there was a recent story that I was watching on a real life. It was a guy was basically fell in love with his AI bot. And he's married, has a kid, and even asked the question, "Would you marry me?" And even though he's married already, it's really, the wife was not mad at this story, because essentially she said that she's busy all day. She has one of those jobs that are really crazy, and he talks a lot. And he uses this AI bot he likes to talk a lot about politics, and it's really his ear, and it's really saved her a lot of time to have to sit there and listen to things that she doesn't want to. She has a very stressful job. They've got a 2-year-old, and she's not mad at his relationship with this AI bot. Well, jump to a recent Redditor that asked the question, AI affection, video messages, a healthy stopgap, or a toxic crush? Here's what they said. I think I'm a catch, but I admit I'm an odd duck. Being on the spectrum, I don't always have the same level of tact as most. I'm 36 and never had a serious relationship. I feel the clock ticking. One particularly lonely night, I decided to mess around with the new Google Veo 3 AI models and, made a video that I would absolutely love to receive. Someone who clearly loves and misses me, someone who I could easily see myself loving. Yes, as far as simple fantasy allows. After it generated, when I saw the way he looked at me through the lens, what he said to me that I chose, I was surprised by how much I felt. I've not been lucky in love. Fuck knows why. Just
Aw.
getting this short fantasy message from quote unquote my man. Oh, wow. Saying that was bizarre. Felt simultaneously great and deeply taunting. I really don't know how to get from here to there. Yes, it's a fantasy, and real life relationships are way more nuanced, but this video felt so pure, something I wasn't sure I'd ever see. Is this visualization and taking in the story that I told of this other story, fake it, make it style? Or is this destined to make me more melancholy? Anyone else tried this? What are your thoughts on this? Because I think the easy answer, if we had this conversation, Kodi, a year ago,
Yeah.
I feel like many of us would be like, absolutely no, this is crazy talk. Nothing beats a person. But now that we know a little bit more about AI and how it's a tool, hearing how this Redditor really talked about logically about how he understands the fantasy, but it really helped him out at a time when he's not meeting somebody. Hearing the story I told prior to the Redditor about a real life couple where the wife isn't mad, but it's simply alleviating her time to have to hear endless stories of him yatter about politics because she doesn't have the time. What do you say now, a year after, hearing how this could actually be a tool for some people?
I have to say that was a good pitch. You did a great job with that.
Thank you.
That's what I have to say.
All right.
But I wasn't convinced. I'm not buying. I'm not buying the timeshare. I'm not buying the new car. I'm not buying any of those things. I'm not buying it because for the lady that doesn't have time for her significant other,
Well,
like,
just for
no,
certain
mama,
things.
no, I don't agree. I'm sorry. I do not agree. I was with somebody for a very long time that liked to talk and liked to break things down, complain. And I always made time to hear what they had to say because I love them. So
Yeah,
I think that that's what you do for people that you love. I was just, no, I'm not going to say that.
say it.
No, 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 I can't. I'll tell you offline. But I do think that when you are in love with somebody, you support them in that way. And I think that by her pawning him off to the
And
AI is going to kind of dissolve or dilute their connection. Personally speaking, I don't know this lady from Tom, the Tomcat. Anywho, but on this guy who is very lonely and is using the AI as his AI boyfriend, I don't think that that's a good decision either. If he were capable of just letting it be this and that's it, I don't. I think that it would be okay, but I don't think he's capable of that. I think that he's on a very slippery slope
I was going to
of letting
say,
this be his crutch as far as romantic interactions are concerned. And I think that that's a very empty place for him to be. It's not going to be fulfilling at the end of the day, and it's a robot. It's not alive. I'm sorry, y'all.
yeah. I mean, I have to agree with you. I made a really good pitch.
You did. It was great. I
So,
was
yeah.
like this close to buying it, girl.
Yeah, I do agree with myself that I did do that, but I do agree with you as well that it's a slippery slope. And I've talked to a lot of people on where AI is going. Not a lot of people, but my sister, she works in tech.
Mhm.
I have watched a lot of stories recently about AI and what can you do. And I am starting to learn more about it because I think we all need to learn more about it because it's not going away. And I am currently also trying to write a current business plan for a separate project. And I'm going to have AI. I'm shopping around different AI programs to write the business plan. It will prompt me. I ultimately get to tweak it and make it my own.
Mhm.
But I'm going to use this AI instead of sitting there and starting from scratch. And writing business plans is not like my favorite thing. And even where do you start? But if it could do most of it for me and prompt me and I can tweak it, yeah. But when it comes to things like love and relationships and sex, I feel like it's a slippery slope too, because yeah, this Redditor created somebody that said all the right things, but we all know in relationships that you get a lot of the good things that surprise you. Often the surprises are more gratifying from that
Yes.
your partner than you even could ever create in your
It's
head.
true. It's
In
so
other words,
true.
Diego has surprised me about things that I didn't even know I would be excited about that I am excited
And
about.
it makes you fall in love with them a little bit
Yeah.
more. It's
But
great. It's fantastic. I've had it happen to me before, especially in my last
yeah,
relationship.
but you also have to be privy to the fact that there's going to be compromises that you're going to have to be making. And if you could create somebody that only is going to say the things that you want to hear all the time, that's not reality. And that's not the way life is really. Now you're messing with emotions. And emotions, I think, come from the heart, something that AI does not have. And so when AI doesn't have a heart, so will your love partner that was created by AI. So I say keep AI for business and practicalities and keep your love and choosing a partner.
Creativity
Yeah.
because like I was gonna say, you're doing all those things with AI. I'm letting AI write out a release schedule for my single. I'm letting AI schedule, like, help me build a shot list for a music video I want to shoot. That's what it's a tool. It's not a
Yeah.
person. It's not a creative mind. It shouldn't be used to make art or give you affection or love. At the end, that's
Yeah.
my thoughts at the end of the day.
I know somebody that has used AI to create their own personal dildos, and yeah, and printed them out in 3D with a 3D
Where
printer.
can I get one?
And I was like, "What's a 3D printer?" And apparently, have you heard of those?
Can I get one of my penis? Can I ask her? Can I get them?
Yeah, you can do all this kind of stuff, and it's just crazy.
I
And
want to see
so,
something.
yeah, I know. So it's really exciting, all of the things that you can do with AI.
There's
And
a whole new meaning to fuck yourself.
yeah, and I encourage everyone to explore it
Exactly.
for your whatever it is you're into. But maybe, I don't know, if you're somebody that is needing somebody to talk to, get out there and find people. There's people that will talk to you, and
Yes.
yeah, cultivate a community. And they're out there. I think we have
Definitely.
time for one more here, and it was the one that I wanted to definitely include you in. It comes from Reddit,
I can't
and
wait
I
for this.
feel like you could help answer this right away. Tips for my first slutty era.
Oh, this is not my first one though.
It's not your
This is
first,
like my
but
third one.
right. They said I'm
That's what
already
makes me
on
a pro.
prep, so I like the fact that they're on prep.
Yes.
They say that they're 30 and I just managed to leave my 8 year relationship that wasn't working. There was codependency and so on and so forth. They're aware of STDs, but like they said, they're on PrEP. So it sounds like they're aware of what's going on. Uh, I really need to be out there dating and getting all the spontaneous sex I've been craving my whole life. Any tips for me you wish you could have told yourself when you were in my shoes? Tips for keeping your body safe, staving off heartbreak, not causing others too much heartbreak.
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah. So you're kind of in that mode right now, I feel.
I totally am. So yeah, my recommendations, my tips and tricks of how I'm navigating this time is, first and foremost, I'm trying to let people know where I am as a person and
Yeah.
in my scope of where I want a relationship to go. If I fuck them one time,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to be having a conversation about, oh, I just broke up with my ex boyfriend.
Yeah.
But if I see them more than one time, then I'm definitely going to have that conversation that I'm not in a space to have a boyfriend, a committed boyfriend right now. I'm looking for
Yeah.
XYZ. I'm not going to say it on the show right now because I might have a couple of listeners out there that
Okay.
hate me. I'm willing to go on dates. I'm willing to
Yeah.
see, have that kind of
Yeah.
connection to see
But you're
where
keeping it
things
light and
go.
bright.
But I'm keeping it light, and I am not necessarily uh, beholden to anybody as far as romantic concerns are.
That's really
Uh,
healthy of you
yeah,
right now. And I spent a lot of time with you, and I know that it took a minute to get to even wanting for you to have your slutty fun phase, but you are in it, and I think
Good
that's
Lord.
healthy. And but I think you're also really committed to, no, I just need to keep everything light right now
Girl,
because
I even talked to you about it with
yeah,
somebody. Yeah. So I think
right,
that as far as I'm concerned, and also take a mental check of why you are doing what you're doing. Make sure that
yeah,
it's not for out of depression, even though in moderation, I feel like it could be okay.
yeah,
It could help alleviate some things, but make sure you're talking to a therapist, working through these things, and making sure that you are out there enjoying the sex and you're not doing it just for XYZ, for depression
right.
anyway. So yeah, go ahead. What do you have to say about this before we move on to thirst trap?
So I have to say that I agree that basically, take your time with this kind of stuff, but having your slutty phase can be so fun
It is, girl.
and enjoy it. And if you're already asking the questions like this person is doing, and you're on from a safety standpoint on things like prep, and you know about Doxy Pep, and you're getting checked regularly, have fun. We were talking about dark rooms on episode
You
674.
sure were.
Explore those things, explore a lot of this stuff. Don't let any of this stuff get behind you. Enjoy yourself, have fun. It's sexuality, it's what we do. And now is the time to explore that. But keep that mental checklist like you talk about always in close proximity. So, because it can come up and it can bring up stuff. So, yeah. So,
Cool.
yeah. All right. Well, we've come to our final segment that we love on the show, produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. And they asked the question, out of these 13 gay porn stars, who took the best photo of the week? And it's our job on a typically audio podcast to vividly describe why. There's a few on here that I was really intrigued by.
It's a good
I
one.
will say the one that is a should probably win, Austin Wilde,
Oh my
who,
God, I picked him too.
yeah, I mean, he's a favorite of many of ours, and it's the camera angle, it's
It's
that
the
dick,
angle.
but it's that angle where your camera is below and you're shooting upwards, but then you have Austin Wilde's huge, thick cock and ripped abs and his sexy face staring down at you. When
Yeah.
you have all that and you shoot from down under like that, come on now, it's a winner. And he is really deserves that one. I was going to give it to another one that I
Who?
really think is really sexy. Geo Scar
Oh my God,
was
he's so sexy.
very sexy. And I went to his X account and he knows how to really pound him out with,
And an uncut cock, he's
yeah, and it's a
delicious.
thick cock. But I'm going to give it to Austin Wilde, and that's my pick. Who gets your pick?
Well, my first pick was Austin Wilde, but since you picked him, I'm gonna go for Aiden Ward, who I was like, I saw his picture
Oh,
just now when I was scrolling through, and I was like, oh, he's super hot. Maybe I'll change to him. So he's in a bathroom. He's doing a mirror selfie. He's super cute. He's got dark hair. I like a big nose. He's got a big nose. I don't know if that's a trigger for him, but he's shirtless. Sorry if it is, sir. And he's got his cock out. He's got on his pants and his underwear, and he just got him pulled down a little bit, and his cock is popping out. And yeah, it's a really cute picture. He's an adorable man. So, and he takes a mean dick. So that's what I love in a man.
I'll post this on our Patreon page, patreon.com/tags podcast. I'll post it on tagspodcast.com. James watching us live says Ricky Donovan for me. Doug says Trevor Harris. James says I picked Austin too. And for reference, Austin Connor is getting the most votes right now. And since we have a couple seconds, Austin Connor, ooh, okay, he's a very like pretty white boy, right? Looks very militaristic.
Oh, it's Aussie Connor. He's Australian. Aussie Connor.
Aussie Connor, thank you.
Yeah.
Not
And
yeah,
yeah, I went to his
yeah,
Twitter and I wasn't really impressed. I'm sorry to these people. This picture is really great.
yeah. That picture's great.
But I went to his Twitter and I was not. I wasn't gagging. I would probably gag on that huge dick he's got, but uh,
Well, you'll
I'm not
be.
gagging at any of his content.
Well, we have to go, but you can gag on Kodi's new artwork coming out soon. Go to at Mr. Maurice on Blue Sky and on Instagram at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V. Go to my X and Blue Sky at TAGSPodcast. Go you, and I think that's it. In the meantime, continue having hot
Hot gay
gay sex.
sex.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.